All right, option A. So option A is monthly payments, compounded monthly, and 14.2% interest rate. So we've got 12, 14.2, 4,200, 0, 12, 12. Okay? So to find out what your payments are, punch it into your calculator, we get $377.50 for the first one. Option B is 12.7 this time, 4,300. That's the catch in the question. Everything else is the same. It says that you have a smaller interest rate of 12.7, but must pay a $100 fee in order to finance it. So now it's 4,300. So in this one, it works out to 383.46. Okay, those of you that I marked, I noticed some of you got this one incorrect. You didn't change that 4,200 to 4,300. Okay, so then just to find out the amount of interest, all right, you would simply multiply both of these by 12. And the amount of interest on option A was 330. The amount of interest on option B was 301.52. Questions about it? That's a pretty easy question. All right. So the only thing that threw the snag in for those that didn't get it right that I marked today, I think you didn't change that to 4,300, right, Emma?
I'm just not like
Just simple mistake though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions about this guy? Okay, I'm gonna move on to the second if we have no questions. It's up to you. You need to ask the questions. I'm moving on as if everybody knows what they're doing. If you don't, you gotta stop. Okay, so the first part of this was a lease agreement. Lease agreement, she had to pay $2,000 to begin with, plus 12 by 500 per month by 2 years, and that works out to $14,000. So there's the lease agreement for the first question. All right. With the lease agreement?
No, with both of them. I just I'll wait till you do.
All right, so now it says, how much will it cost Juliet to buy the car? She pays off the debt with one single payment in 2 years. Okay, so again, all right, help me out here. Number of payments. Okay, so it's one payment, right? We know that much. But we have to include the fact that it's going to happen after 2 years. So your number of payments, so this payment per year times the number of years is what we put up here. So in this case, it's 2. Fair enough? Okay, what's the interest rate?
4.1.
4.1? How much is she borrowing?
$14,900.
Okay, so the cost of the car was $18,000, correct? She put a down payment of $3,500 on that car. So she's borrowing $14,500. And it's compounded how much?
12.
12 times a year, monthly. Now, here's the part that is a little bit confusing to some. Even though I'm looking for one payment, I do not use this unless it's multiple payments. Okay? So what am I actually looking for in the question then?
Did you do that?
I'm looking at how much it's going to cost me over 2 years to pay it back at the end of it. And in this case, it worked out to $15,736.91. So that's how much this will end up being a negative because it comes out of your account. Now, how much will it cost Julia to buy the car if she pays off the debt with one single payment in 2 years? So is that what it costs her to buy the car?
No.
No? What am I forgetting? I have to add the down payment in to find out how much it actually costs. Okay, so let's add $3,500 to it. And it actually costs her, where am I at? $19,236.91. But what is she going to do at the end of 2 years? She's going to sell the car back for $5,000. So I have to subtract my $5,000 off of here. So what does it cost her over the 2 years to buy that car? Okay, so comparing it to the lease then, comparing it to the lease right now, which is the better deal? What's the better option?
I think it's like buying the car just because you actually own the car. Oh no, you're trading it back in, sorry. No, the lease is cheaper.
The lease is cheaper over the 2 years so far, right? It costs you $14,000 to lease it. It costs you $14,236.91. Now the other thing too is it costs you $236.91 more. All right? But is it worth the hassle even just to purchase it? Not really. All right? It's going to cost you more and there's more hassle. Whereas you just sign the lease agreement and you're done. All right? Okay? So that is the B part of the question. Does everybody understand how that question works then? Anybody not? Put up your hand if you don't understand something.
I don't know, I just, I guess I do understand it. I got help with it, but yeah, you can continue.
You sure?
I'm sure. The frustrating thing is my paper's in my tote bag, so I'm a little bummed out that I don't have it.
You don't have it in front of you?
Yeah, I brought it with me, but when I took
You
my
want to go
stuff,
get it, Morgan?
yeah,
That make things look easier?
yeah.
Run and get it. Okay? All right, any other concerns about this guy? All right? Now, if I just look at the board right now, what is the difference between C and B?
So you're making monthly payments.
C, I'm making monthly payments. So what am I looking for in here then in C? I'm looking for my payments. What else changes here?
Your
Your N.
and
My N is 24 and
your
Payments per year,
my payments per year change to what?
12.
12. So the whole thing, the information to begin with doesn't change, does it? Interest rate stays the same, amount of borrowing stays the same. The things that are changing is I'm looking for payments instead of future value. My payments per year become 12, and 12 times 2 makes this 24 up here. Right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do it again. N, 24. Interest rate, still 4.1. Present value, still borrowing 14,500. Payments I want to know. Future value now is 0. I'm going to pay it off. Payments per year is monthly. Compounds per year stays the same. It's still 12. So now what I want to do is I want to find out how much my payments are each month for 2 years. So using this again, my payments work out to $600.31. Okay, so TDM solver again, just finding payments instead of future value. Any problems there? Can we decipher between B and C? Can you read the question in B and read the question in C and decipher what the two glaring differences are? Is there anybody in here that can't follow that? All right? So this, to me, this question should not have been a very difficult question for you to do. All right? I get this, I get number 3, but this one should be the one that you should be able to just simply do. All right, now I have my payment. I have my monthly payment. How do I find out how much I paid total over the life of the 2 years that I'm paying this vehicle off? How do I find that? Come again? What am I timesing by 24? And that's going to tell me how much it cost me to buy this vehicle?
Plus the down payment.
Plus the down payment. So in every situation here, this goes back to your mortgages as well. How much you actually pay is your total number of payments added on to your down payment. So I take this 630.31, I times it by 24, and then I add on my 3,500. $18,627.44. That's what it cost me to pay for it over 2 years. What it cost me up here? $236.91. So that's what it cost me, but I sold the car back. I traded it back in. So what did I get on my trade-in? $5,000. So how much did it cost me? All right. Out of the 3 options, my lease, making one payment at the end of the 2 years, or making monthly payments for 2 years. Which one of the 3 options ended up being the best option for me?
C.
C.
I'd rather go A.
Well, hold on. Monetary wise, which one is it? C. So you're going to pay less money in the end if you choose to do the monthly payments of $630.31. Fair enough? All right, now let's discuss the important part of this. What's better for you and why? Brennan, you started it. Why would you choose the lease?
I choose the lease because it's lower monthly payments, plus you don't have to do the hassle. Plus it's only
Okay, so first of all, lower monthly payments, $500 as opposed to $630.31. That's, sure, okay.
Yeah, plus you're only really paying $370 more.
Mhm.
Over 2 years, that's not really, that's nothing. Plus, it's a lot less hassle too.
Okay,
If it breaks down, hold it like the cables and stuff that makes it,
all right.
like any maintenance stuff,
Okay, now,
Not necessarily.
but like.
yeah, okay, that's great, all right? And there's the other part of it too. If you're buying that vehicle new, then you probably have 3-year warranty or 60,000 kilometers on this vehicle right here. The lease agreement, we don't know. It would depend on what the agreement was. Chances are they fix. again, if it's a new vehicle, they're probably got the same warranty that you do, right? So that may not be a big deal. If you did this over 5 years, maybe, that could change things. Or if you didn't buy a new vehicle. Now, a lot of vehicles costing you $18,000, brand new. All right? So, excellent points. What is best? I would say, obviously B, cost more, right? But you needed to have $19,000 at the very end. You need to have that $19,000. Didn't cost you $500 a month, didn't cost you $630 a month, but you better have $19,000 at the end of it. So how you put that in, that would be up to you too, right? Any other questions or comments about what is the best option here?
Seems like it would be due monthly anyway, don't you? Like, if
Yeah.
you were,
Mm-hmm.
if you did sell something and went for those,
Right.
you'd probably be already doing monthly, so seems.
Right. So it would depend on probably mostly your preference between $500 a month and $630 a month. Can you afford an extra $130 a month over 2 years to buy the vehicle? All right? All right, for the grand finale, let's hit number 3 now. Question A, the lease agreement. $1,200 per month for 7 years, $100,800. That's what it works up to. Okay, I need my notes here. Oh, this. All right, let's follow this through now. First things first. It says, what is the cost of the house after 7 years? All right. To find the cost of the house after 7 years, you're going to need to find out how much money you actually spent. All right? Minus whatever that you made off of the selling of the house. But first things first, what is the first step in the process to find out how much money it's going to cost you in the long run? What's the very first thing that you have to find? I have to find my monthly payment. Now, the problem that a couple of you brought up yesterday, how do I find my monthly payment? Is it for 18 years or is it for 7 years? It's 18. You are not expecting to sell that house in 7 years. So you have mortgaged it over 18 years. Or you can't afford to mortgage that house over 7 years, so you've mortgaged over 18, knowing full well that you might sell it over 7. That's okay too. However, the monthly payment is based on an 18-year mortgage. So that's the first thing that we need to find out. What is our payment? NI, present value, payment, future value, payments per year, compounds per year. The price of the house is what total? $210,000. The down payment on the house was $17,000. Therefore, the left owing on the house was. So how much am I borrowing from the bank? $193,000. What was the length of the mortgage? 18 years. So how many payments is that over 18 years? 216 payments. What was the rate, the interest rate on it? Sorry? 3.9%. I am borrowing $193,000. I hope to pay it off in 18 years. How many payments per year am I making, Morgan? You need to be writing this down, bud. How many payments per year? Monthly payments? And what's the compounding? Semi-annually? Okay, so that's a little different than what we've been doing. Okay, we're now paying it off 12 months, but the compound interest is only twice a year. All right? Okay, so first thing I need to do is I need to find out what my monthly payment is. So my monthly payment I have is $1611.33. So there's the first thing that I'm supposed to find.
1611.
I have that. You told me it was wrong.
Yeah, you know what? It is wrong because I have it for 240 instead of 216. So the actual payment is 1241.83. That's why, CJ. That was 240 instead of 216. Okay, and I have that written on my book here. So I don't know if I might have done it wrong, not you. Okay. So 1241.83. Does that sound right now? Okay, so my numbers may not jive on this book here. So, okay. So now, that's how much it's going to cost per month. So the cost of the house after 7 years, we still got to work this through. So what I need to do now is I need to find out how much I have left owing. Okay, go through your steps. Help me with your steps. I found the payment. What's the next step? What's step number 2 in that?
Well, the first step was figuring out what you borrowed, and the second step was the payments.
Okay, what's
And
the third step?
Is figuring out how much you paid after 7 years.
Okay, so let's find out how much I paid after 7 years. How do I do that?
You take 7 times 12 times 1241.83.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm not sure, do you add the down payment?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you add the down payment.
Okay, so after 7 years, I have paid a total of $1241.83 times 7 times 12 plus 17,000.
You get $121,313.72.
That's what I have as well. 121,313.71.
And isn't that deep?
Okay. So
I did that deep. I did that first, like B says.
no. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna work through this, and then I'm gonna explain
Why do you do it like that?
because the cost to live there is after you've sold the house. All right?
Okay.
Because you have, so this is how much I paid. But remember, after 7 years, I'm selling the house. So this is how much I paid at that point, 121,000. That's not the cost, that's not what it cost me to live there because I'm getting money back. But then I have to also take off what's owing. So that's D.
Why did that all wrong?
Okay, well that's what I'm getting at. Just wait. Yeah, Eli, go ahead.
It comes up to 72 cents.
72? Is that right? Yeah, I have 72 on my sheet too.
You're so picky.
We're paying that much to the bank, we're gonna be picky about pennies, aren't we? I agree. Okay, so, now, that is how much you've actually paid. So maybe the wording isn't right on that. That is, how much have you paid into the house after 7 years?
That's what
So we can, I'll change the wording on the question, but that's what that is. Because we have cost and cost twice. So that's maybe what part of the confusion is. Okay, that's fair. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to find out how much I have left owing on the house. All right, after the 7 years. Because that's how I got to find out what my profit is. All right, so the next thing to do is let's find out what the new price of the house is. So this is working towards C now. The new price of the house is $210,000 times 1.02 to the 7th. So $210,000 1.012 to the 7. Okay? That's how much the house is worth after 7 years because it has a 1.2% appreciation. Do we agree? That's what the question says? Appreciation. Okay? So I get the house is now worth, the new price of the house when I sell it is $241,000.
Yes, 2%.
Okay, so that should be 1.02, sorry. I feel like I'm doing 2 separate questions here. What did I do wrong there? Oh, I got 1.02 here. Okay. Make sure I got this number right. I got 241,223 and 99 cents.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the new price of the house.
So is that B? What is the cost of the house after 7 years?
No.
Oh,
No.
because like to me
I'm
that's
working on C right now.
oh my goodness. Because like the cost, like to me, like what is the cost to live there? For
Hold on, this is what I just finished explaining this to you.
Well, I didn't understand what you explained to me.
Well, what I'm saying is the B part should say, how much have you paid into the house after 7 years?
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying, that B and D, the way they're worded, leads you to say that they're the same thing. They are not. So if you're looking at B, what have you paid into the house? This is what I paid into the house right here. That's your B part. Okay? Now my C part is find the profit on the house. So the profit on the house, what does it say in your notes as profit?
Cost directly owing.
It's the new price of the house minus your left owing. So now I got to find out how much I have left owing. So instead of 216 months of payments, I have 72. Right? No, that's all right. It's 84.
No, isn't it 11 times 12?
No, it should be 7 times
7 times 12.
7 times 12, which is 84.
Because on the book, like in
7 years, 12 months. 7 times 12 is 84.
okay, I'm just saying because like what I did because you're trying to find like what you're left owing.
Yes.
I used 11 times 12 because there's 11 years left in the mortgage. Does that make sense? So I used 11.
Yeah, but you can't, I explained why you can't do it that way. The reason you can't do it that way is because the interest changes. The interest goes down as you get later in the agreement. So you've got to find out for the 7 years how much you have left owing after the 7 years that you paid those payments. Okay? That's the future value.
I didn't know it was interesting.
Yeah, I explained that to you because once you have left owing on the house, okay, so you make these payments. Okay, I'm going to explain this again because obviously I haven't done a good enough job of it. When you make a payment on a house, part of your payment goes to your principal, which is basically your equity. And part of it, the good part of it, goes to interest, which goes to the bank. So, how this works is this. You have equity in the house. In this case, your starting equity is $17,000. Okay? Everybody following me so far? The balance you have owing on the house is $193,000. That's what I'm borrowing from the bank. Okay? So far, so good? All right, I make a payment. My first payment, $1,611.43. Okay? Is it? Sorry, $1,241. I changed it again. Went up. $1,241.83. That's what it was. Got my numbers mixed. So there's my first payment. Now, out of that payment, some of this has to go to principal, some of this has to go to interest.
3.9% of that.
Okay. So let's take 3.9% of that. Punch that into your calculator, please. 1241.83. It's not quite right. No, it's not right. No, that's not right. Hold on. That's not right. It's not 3.9%. It's 3.9% of this is what we're going to end up paying. Is on the 193,000. Okay? So, I'm going to make this simpler for you. Listen, I need you to have an open mind about this. This is not complicated stuff. What I'm saying is this. I'm going to change this right now. I'll make it make more sense. Here's a $1,000 payment. Of that $1,000, $700 is going to go to interest. And $300 is going to go to the principal. Making up these numbers. These are made up numbers. Got it? So $300 goes to the principal. That means after your first payment, after month 1, you now have $17,300 equity in the house.
So that's how much you paid off already.
That's how much I own of the house so far.
Yeah.
192,300. That's how much I have left owing on the house after the first payment. Because $700 of it is interest. No, this isn't right either.
700. Yeah.
My bad. This is 700. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's okay.
Okay, so equity is found by taking the equity plus the principal. The balance owing is the interest, or the, whatever you have left owing minus the principal.
Okay.
Okay? So part of the principal goes on here, part of it goes on here, the rest goes to interest to the bank. Understand what I'm saying? Now, you're paying interest on how much you have left owing, okay? So after month 1, now I'm only paying interest on $192,700 rather than the $193,000, okay? So let's do this one more time. So after so my payments are going to stay the same. So after month 2, now I may be, again, made up numbers, not real. Maybe my principal is $305 and my interest is $695 after the second payment.
So then your equity would then be 17 and then 605,
605,
and then that would be
192 minus 305, which would be, quick math, 395.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay. So what I'm saying to you, the important part of this right here, is that your interest rate is always on how much balance owing you have. Okay? So it goes down, 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 and my amount of equity goes, my principal keeps increasing. So as I go through, this guy increases, this guy decreases. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where your principal is almost the entirety of the payment at the end of the mortgage. There'll be very little interest at the end of the mortgage because this is going to come down to almost 0, right? So that decreases until we get to 0 after 18 years. So when I'm finding, we okay with that? Sorry. I know I've confused a couple of things, but are we okay with it? Do you understand how a mortgage works?
So in real life, would it be like on your first payments, like 70% of?
No, like 97.5% will be interest.
Oh, I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So
Like
like, say you paid $1,000. and
Like you're paying-
all go to the bank.
you're gonna pay. I should have done this. You pay 193,000 by 3.9% and divide it by your monthly payment. Okay? And then you take that off of your payment. So it's a significant amount.
So like basically, you don't have anything invested in your house for the first couple of years.
No, other than your down payment. That's why you want to increase your down payment. Okay? So Brandon's question is, like this $300, 30% equity or principal out of that payment, not likely to happen. You're going to get about 4%. on your first payment. And then it just keeps increasing until it gets closer to 100%. But I mean, it takes 18 years to do this, right?
So basically, say if you bought a house and you sold it 2 years later, any money that you paid on your mortgage, you'll never see that.
Pretty much.
Because none of that's going to the equity.
Well,
A little bit.
yeah, very, very little. Yes, that's correct. And we should do a spreadsheet. There is a spreadsheet that shows you all this. Okay, so let's go back to this now. I need to find out how much left owing I have. So I've lost the mojo here, I understand. The new price of the house is $241,023.99. To get my profit, I need to subtract the left owing to get my profit. So I gotta find my left owing. So this is 3.9. This is 193,000. This is 1241.83. It's gotta be a negative. My future value I'm looking for, 12 and 2. Okay? So I want to find my left owing now. My left owing on the house is 133,333.09.
I got that the first time I did it. Then I did it with the 11.
We go to see how you got that.
Punch this into your calculator.
Oh, you got that. Yeah, I got. Sorry.
I just got a 2 at the end for some reason,
Okay, check it again. I'm going by mine and I have made mistakes on it. So you got this? Okay. Okay, punch it in. Punch it in and check it. Can I see this? 4, 3, 9, 9, 3, 41.83. Oh, 2. I have a 2 here, 79. Why is that different? Okay. Well, 41.83.
You use 1611, you get that?
No, she's got, I think what happened was, I left that as a decimal there. Okay, so this is what I get. I think she's right.
I used the full decimal.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Okay, so alright, so, I left my payment on there, so it had the full decimals, so it shows you we're off by 60 cents. Okay, if you don't use your full decimals, so maybe leave your decimals on there when you're doing this. Well, because you've already filled, well, no, but what you've done is, you've done it here.
You know what, I don't know.
And then you leave that on there
Yeah.
when you do the next part of it.
Okay. That was amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so listen to that. Hey, stop talking. When you do this, you leave it on there. All right? Because all you had to do is just find this instead at the end. So instead of that being 0, I find this. So you leave it on there. It is off. If you do not do it by leaving that on there, we are off by, 40 cents. Okay? So it's important that we don't round things early. And this course especially, we don't want to round things early. So there's how much I have left owing on the house. $133,333.09. Okay? So let's talk about what's happened here. After 7 years, she's paid $121,000 into the house, right? She's selling the house for $241,000. She has this much left owing on the house. So what's the profit?
107,891.
7,000. I have 890.90.
It might just be with rounding.
I got that.
I use 133, right? I use 333. So
That's what I got.
53.
okay, so this is the profit on the house. That's my profit on the house. Okay? So by selling the house after 7 years, taking into account the appreciation on the house, she made $107,890, $107,890.90 off the house. All right.
How did
My
you,
last,
how did you get that number?
what number?
The profit number.
I took how much the house cost and I subtracted what you have left on your mortgage, which is your left owing. That's this guy.
Okay.
Down in the corner there.
So it subtract.
The new price of the house minus your left owing. I mentioned this to you yesterday, to a few of you, if not everybody. Write that down on your sheet so you remember. The profit is your new house minus your left owing. The new price of the house minus what you have left owing. How much did it cost her to live in that house for 7 years? That's what D is asking you. Jesse, how much did she pay over? Jesse, just listen to my question, please. How much did she pay for 7 years on that house? Look at the board. What number on there shows how much she paid after 7 years? So she paid that in 7 years. Yeah? What was her profit on the house? So did she pay more than she got as a profit?
No. Yeah.
What's larger, 121,000 or 107,000? So then she paid more than what she got back in the house set. That's what it cost her to live in the house, that much.
That's what it cost me, just to take away the
So it'll be like 121 subtract 107.
Yes. The D answer is oh, how do I undo that? Okay. The D answer. The cost for her to live there for 7 years. I take what she's paid into the house minus her profit. So she paid $121,313.72. Her profit was $107,890. So she came out after 7 years. Basically, what it cost her to live in that house is that. There's your D answer. You have all of this down. Hey, that does not match.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course you can.
I'm still confused on what B is asking, what the answer
B is how much you paid into the house. That's this guy right here. This is your B right here.
So B is like your equity made.
No, it's not my equity. It's how much you paid into the house total. How much have you paid into the house over 7 years?
How come it's so hard to understand that?
This is, Mary, this is what I just finished saying. This is the third time I'm saying it. I will change the question B to say how much you paid on the house. Because I understand that B and D both have cost, right? So you don't know what it's cost, which cost they're talking about. So I will change the question on B to say, how much did you pay on the house? Does that make more sense?
Yes.
So then the cost to you on the house is this right here. How much you paid in B minus your profit in C gives you the answer in D. You follow that now?
No, I get the question, I got the question, like, it was just,
Okay, then ask again what it is that you're not following there.
no, I follow it, it's just the wording for D, like, everything else, I got the question.
Okay, so the biggest thing is, on the exam, I haven't seen a lot of questions asked for profit. I haven't seen a lot of questions ask you how much it cost you. They basically work with that B part. How much is it that you're going to have to pay down on the house? But we do need to know all of this in order to do it. Okay? Oh, I deleted something on here. 890. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you do it the way, like,
Brennan, do it following the steps. If you have a better way of doing it and it works, then do it yourself, because you're gonna confuse everybody here. You do things differently than everybody else. Follow the steps. Okay? And if it works for you, then perfect. If you don't need to follow the steps, I'm okay with that. But I don't wanna confuse anybody right now with the way you're thinking. Eli,
I'm just wondering how you got 56 cents for the final answer.
it's actually 55.
Well, I got 82.
Yeah, me too.
Fine.
sure. What'd you get? 82? I have 121,313.72. I'll just write this out. You can do it again based on what I've written down here. 121,313.72 minus 107,890. That's what I have there. If you punch that into your calculator, what do you get?
82 cents.
It was it 13,422? 92 cents? So what you get there? You what?
I still get the 82 cents.
That's fine. Then you're right, Eli. Good. I got that too. I just had it wrong on here.
Wrong with the mark.
Did you have anything else wrong on there? Just that half mark? Okay. I'll move it up. All right. Okay. One of the things I suggested to Jules, I'm going to suggest to the rest of you, when you go through this question right now, looking at your steps, what was the first step you had to do? How much I had borrow? There's step one right there.
Down payment?
Down payment was number 2?
Yep.
That's right there. They should probably be switched. Because you need to know your down payment before you find out how much you have to borrow. Or whatever. 1 and 2 right there. Then what did I find?
Your actual payment?
My payments. There's 3 right there. Now what's step 4?
What you paid after a certain amount of years.
How much I paid after a certain amount of years. There's number 4 right there. Okay, what's number 5? New price of the house.
Left owing. Your wife and your value.
What's number 5? What does it say on your steps?
Left
How much is
owing.
left over?
So that's 5 right here.
So that's
Okay, what's 6?
Off the house, off the sale.
So that's 6 right there. Your new price of your house. Right? What's next?
Profit.
Profit. That's 7. And then 8. Cost you.
And cost.
There's your 8 steps. There's your 8 steps. My suggestion, go through and put those on, put that question down on your cheat sheet. Make sure you have it. Okay? Like I said, I'll change the wording a little bit because when I looked at it, I didn't look at it to see that it says what does the cost of the house after 7 years twice. Basically, it's B and D are asking the same thing. But B wanted your how much you paid, so that's up to step 4. Okay? Other questions? A lot of time on that.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
I'll put it up on that one as soon as I'm done here.
And you forget to today and did lesson, you did number 7.
I think I've put everything on this week so far. I believe. Like question 7 and 8?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, I'll have a look right now. Okay, does anybody else have anything, questions about this? Any questions?
Yeah, I understand the steps and it's easy to go over, but the one thing that always kicks me is the wording of the question. That's how I'm getting everything wrong, is it's when I word it, I confuse.
Okay.
That's the thing that's how I've been struggling with this so long.
So what do we gotta do about it?
Numbers 3.
I don't know, take another year of English.